The Bible mentions some extremely mysterious creatures in its pages. The Leviathan. You are great. These are examples about figures that spark a lot of debates, often referred to as immense primitive beasts. There are interpretations that link them to ancient animals, or even symbolic concepts. Let's understand the passages that mention them when observing beyond the Bible. The most widespread concepts about these two creatures usually come from Judaism. They are gigantic creatures that will face each other at the end of times. Leviathan would lean more towards an immense creature.
You see, James?
Either Leia or a snake. During the age of great voyages, it was one of the figures that most frightened the bathers. In demonology, a Leviathan,
It's
like a demon and one of the princes of hell, the greatest leaders of evil entities. However, Jewish views also interpret it as symbolism for the evil that exists in the world, and for the envy felt by men. While Behemoth is more understood as a large, herbivorous land creature related to, there is a mythical creature, or even to a dinosaur. This creature of enormous size is the arch-enemy of the Leviathan. In the future, they would both enter into a bloody combat, which would result in the death of both. There is a mythology that places Leviathan and Behemoth in the same role of ancient beasts. The two monsters would be two of the first creatures created by God to incorporate and maintain the three kingdoms of creation: the sea, the land, and the sky. The Leviathan would be the primordial beast of the sea, similar to death on land, and the Zeus, a powerful kind of giant bird, would be the maintainer of the sky. The existence of the three-supported creation as we know it today. Well, it's important to remember that the vast majority of these concepts and characteristics are the result of a great syncretism among various religions and mythologies. Judaism, demonology, and other beliefs blended until these figures took this form in common sense. This does not even remotely mean that the Leviathan and the Behemoth are like that in the initial material, and that they were found. Your true origin comes from the Bible, specifically from the book of Job. To understand well, to truly understand what they are, we need to turn to the Holy Scriptures. Let's look at Job chapter 40, when Behemoth is first mentioned. Verse 15 goes like this: "Contemplate now the hippopotamus that I created with you. Eats the grass like cake. Their strength is in their loins, and their power in the muscles of their belly. Stiffens its tail like the brain. The tendons of their thighs are intertwined. Their bones are bronze tubes, its framework like bars of iron. It is the masterpiece of God's deeds. Who made it? Provided it with the sword." Here, the translation uses the word hippopotamus to refer to the behemoth, but the meaning of the word in this text is highly debated. This same term appears in the Bible other times, but with a different meaning that is well defined. Behemoth, generally, is meant to refer to cattle, that is, various grazing animals. The word comes from Hebrew. Other people, take a look. Parable would be the plural, having a meaning similar to animals, beasts, or livestock. In the end, generally speaking, the word in life refers to a group of ruminating animals. However, In this passage of Job,
The term refers to...
about this great beast with great physical strength. His partners are tough. He eats vegetables and is huge. Moreover, the text states that the creature dwells among the reeds and mud. That is, it's an animal that has aquatic habits. Most of the time, theologians imagine it to be an exaggerated description of a hippopotamus, with a strong emphasis on their strengths and capabilities. But there's a problem. Job chapter 40 mentions that the behemoth makes its tail stiff like a cedar. I'm not sure if you've noticed a hippopotamus's tail, but it's tiny and doesn't stiffen. Therefore, many say it wouldn't be a hippopotamus, but some dinosaur or prehistoric extinct animal. So the discussion continues, without knowing who Pemote really is. However, the hippopotamus hypothesis is not entirely ruled out, just because of the letter, right? After all, the description was much more poetic and symbolic than scientific. Jackie Bose, I'm going to get some people
It's
crates.
not even juice.
Until a few centuries ago, many animals were victims of violence, existing and described very differently from what they really were, since it was difficult, or compiled the features, the beings at that time. The option of being simply an aquatic herbivorous animal, huge, which no longer exists. Quite plausible. Given all this, it's important to understand that knowing exactly which animal is described in the passage is secondary. The text just wants to show an animal far above anything else. A poetic comparison that, even so, is completely subdued by God. The creator of the heavens and earth is above any creature, as powerful as it may be. The appearance of this monster, it also aimed to distinguish the God of Israel from the other pagan deities of other peoples. New various gods from other nations would clash with giant monsters. They defeated enormous beasts and things of that nature. In the case of Abraham's Lord, any exceedingly powerful creature is just one of his creations. Now let's look at a part of the passage that describes the Leviathan. The ranks of its coils are its pride, each one closely joined, as if by a seal that fits them. Each of his sneezes makes light shine, and its eyes are like the eyelashes of dawn. Torches come out of its mouth, sparks of fire leap from them. From its nostrils it proceeds, smoke, like from a boiling pot. At the start of the chapter, the animal is referred to as a crocodile. Once again, maybe monster isn't the best word to refer to it. In Psalm 74, the Leviathan is mentioned differently. The psalm says that God created the sea for countless beings, including the Leviathan. In this case, the description is of a literal animal, unlike other passages where the theme is more symbolic. The hard part is saying exactly whose it is, what species it is. If it's a crocodile, no doubt, the description is very symbolic and exaggerated, as these reptiles, they don't breathe fire through the streets. Once again, knowing which specific animal this monster is, isn't among the main issues in the book of Job. What we know is that monstrous creatures fight for their lives. They fight against Yahweh, but are always defeated by him, as we can see not only in Job, but also in Psalms.
Go!
That's right, the authors aim to reference myths of the Mediterranean peoples, to show that the God of Israel is superior to all the false pagan gods. This is a feature that occurs other times in the New Testament. Greek-Roman mythology and literature are cited. not to encourage or validate belief in them, but to aid understanding. Who knew these figures,
What's the moral of the story?
whether Leviathan and Plemones are real animals or mythological symbols, their meaning should be understood as emphasizing the sovereignty of the Almighty God. This is a somewhat controversial and complex topic. Leave your opinion in the comments. I'll see you in the next Beyond the Bible.